What to do when listening? Let's watch this video clip and do the activity. Active, reflective, and effective listening. Listening is a skill that we are often not taught because from growing up, we knew that we are hearing everything all along. So, therefore, we must be listening. But it can lead to problems though. If we don't listen carefully to what people say, we can make false assumptions. We can draw wrong conclusions. And it's not just the words we need to listen to, it's the way the words are said. Let's take it from a communications point of view and think of it from the way it works there. What happens from a sender and a receiver is you have a packet of information that's sent to the other side, and two things happen when it's received. One is acknowledgement that it has been received, and the second is a check of the accuracy of that message. As humans, we actually do the same thing. We are genuinely listening. The receipt of the information is the indication that there's someone there, and often by the eye contact, by the posture. The fact that someone, as a receiver, is on the other end, but we've got no confirmation that the message has been accurately understood unless the person receiving proves that they've heard it. And the only way to prove that you've heard it is to reflect back what you've heard. The concept of mirroring. So we have this concept of mirroring, which is if you are in front of a mirror, you receive your reflection back. For example, when you say something, the reflection from the mirror is by someone saying, "All right, so you mean, correct me if I'm wrong. You want to?" So as I understand it. And that is a proof of listening. It's perhaps catching the odd keyword that's been used. The unusual word, sometimes the emotional word. If someone says, "You know, I really felt let down," you might reflect back, "So you were disappointed about that?" "Yeah, I was." And that's often what you get when the message is received. It's like permission to continue. Someone will say, "Yeah, exactly," or "Yeah, and they will just carry on this as if you didn't say anything. You might wonder why I bothered to do that reflecting back. Well, it's because it's like message received, understood, permission to continue. Tone and posture. It's often said that words represent less than 10% of the information's content, and we do a lot of listening with our eyes. It's listening and interpreting the tone of voice that's used. The word is energy because it's not reflecting back exactly the words or the tone or the posture. It's mirroring the energy. So, top tips for listening: reflecting tone, words, and body language. And as a conclusion, first is be aware of your posture, be aware of the energy in the room, be aware of the need to reflect the same energy. Second, find the opportunity to interject with keywords, key phrases, so what you are saying to prove the listening. And third, listen with your eyes to reflect back perhaps what's not being overly said. So you see, hearing is an involuntary process that starts with noise, vibrations, the movement of fluid in the ears, and sound sent to the brain. When the noise actually arrives to its final destination, the brain, this is where listening happens. Listening is a voluntary act where we try to make sense out of the noise we hear. In any event, hearing and listening are very different because listening requires conscious action. step in listening process. Sound travels at 770 miles per hour. That's about 33% quicker than a Boeing 747. That's fast. Here's the process that really happened. Hearing. Sound enters the eardrums and travels to the brain. Attending. Our brain receives the sound and decides what to pay attention to. Understanding. Take what is meaningful and apply it to the social context. Remembering. Storing this information for use at a later time. Public speakers need to be good listeners too. When a public speaker sets out to create the speech of a lifetime, he must first do some snooping to get information about his potential audience. So, by using the open-ended questions, he should ask some information about the audience, their education level, interest, and other important details that will help him to create a more relevant presentation. Being an audience-centered speaker. Have you ever attended a speaking engagement and found yourself so into what is being said that you became one with the speaker? Chances are you were listening to an audience-centered speaker, which is someone who attempts to make a strong connection with the audience by giving them an experience that is meaningful. What this speaker probably did was research a couple of important things to determine what is important to the audience. Those things are demographics, psychographics. When researching demographics, the speaker is seeking to find commonalities among audience members with regard to things like age, income, gender, and even a stage in a life cycle. By knowing information like this about his audience, he is better equipped to keep the jargon specific to a more homogeneous group. The speaker may also look at psychographics to come to some conclusions about attendees. This includes information about beliefs, values, and lifestyle. You see, the more a speaker knows about his audience, the better able he is to tailor a speech to their preferences. Figuring out what an audience wants to hear takes a keen ear for details. Focusing on listening. In order to be a good public speaker, one needs to be a good listener as well. From the time you are offered the speaking gig until the moment the curtain goes down, listen to everything. It's all about understanding your audience, and listening can do that. So, here are a few tips to become a better listener. Ask questions to the person contracting you to speak. Gather information about the group you are presenting to prior to the speech. Jot down any sidebar conversations you hear along the way. Listen to the audience's reaction to your speech as you are talking. Listen for verbal and nonverbal feedback after you finish speaking.